Hello, everybody. It's the first show of June, and the sun is shining, the waves are splashing, and we are sunbathing in this beautiful studio in Stade Lamar. Coming to you live from RO Live Studio in Stade Lamar.
Oh, yes.
It's me, Bruno and Hagen. Because there's no building
Without us teaming?
Yeah.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I've forgotten again.
Oh my God. How are
I'm
you,
so
Hagen?
excited. I just can't. I just don't remember anything.
Excited today, Hagen? Tell me
Today's a
more.
huge day.
Huge day.
Yes.
I thought it was a typical Wednesday.
That's what you think.
That's what
But
you
we kept
said
us
2
under
hours
wraps.
ago when you're nervous.
Yeah,
about
I
the
know.
show.
I didn't want to think of it as a normal Wednesday. But no, we have the announcement of the Hilti Robotics
That's
Challenge.
today?
It's today.
Today,
You wore
live.
that outfit of all outfits.
Oh, wow. I thought it was a nice little contrast.
Literally wearing the same thing.
I know.
Just more dark.
We planned it.
It is. There's a lot of people wearing this polo today. Anywho, we have the Hilti Robotics Challenge winner being announced. Todd Wynne is somewhere
you don't
here.
spoil the guest.
You're right. He's just here. He's just visiting. He's not necessarily the guest. Who knows?
Who knows? He could
I don't know.
You can't hear him in the background.
No, you can't. I hope not. Otherwise, we got to dial these mics in.
But yeah, we'll be announcing, in case you didn't capture any of that, we'll be announcing the winner of the challenge later today. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Very exciting.
What else is going on in your life?
Well, let's not forget about the other challenge that we have going on, the AI Power Construction Challenge.
Ooh.
We are lacking ideas, Bruno. Lacking ideas. We need more. We need more. So maybe after this announcement, and the trips and the fun prizes that people will win, it'll kind of spur some of those more submissions to the challenge. But you got until June 30th, so still plenty of time. Plenty of time. No need to stress.
Ask AI to submit my ideas.
That is, you could do that. Yeah. So yeah, we still got that going on.
That's pretty exciting. And you submitted your idea, right?
I have submitted my idea. Yes.
I can't talk
No, you can't.
game about you.
No.
I didn't want to get beeped. Well, if you haven't submitted an idea, you're encouraged to. And hopefully today's announcement might,
Light a fire under your booty.
yes, I would say spark
Keep
some
it
motivation, but that also works.
Potato.
Who said you can only do one idea, Hagen?
Not James, because he just told us you can submit multiple.
Yeah. You can do 2, 3.
17?
Why not?
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
Yes. But you can only win once. Let's
Right.
just be clear on that. You can't win all 5 awards.
We'll see about that.
Okay. But what about from you, from VDC?
I'm in VDC.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say for the entire company, you're the guy that everyone knows and you know everything.
No, I'm a low class middleman. No one knows me. Nothing.
Okay. Sweet.
No,
Wrap that up.
No, pretty busy. Now we have 2 new hires in our department, so that's pretty
Wow.
exciting. Down in San Antonio.
Both of them in San Antonio?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that should be exciting.
Dang, growing down in San Antonio.
We have a lot of projects happening, so try to backfill those positions to make sure our teams are supported.
Sweet. That's awesome.
So we have that going on, and then just lots of moving pieces. As I mentioned, we have our interns here, so it's always fun to show them new things.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of busy.
Awesome.
And if you haven't submitted, well, that's what I have.
Okay, great.
Well, also they didn't ask marketing what they had, but I know they're working their recaps. So if you haven't read that, make sure you check it out.
If you're a recap submitter, make sure you're sending your info.
Yes, I did submit something for next month's recap.
Ooh, is it about me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Better.
Oh, I think I know what it's about.
So tune in. It's a little sneak peek
Okay. Excellent.
about what it could be. But you know what it stands for?
I think so. I think we're both trying to think of a segue into it. We just can't do it.
Well, just go for it.
Okay, this past week in history. Yay. You can see the little banner coming across.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
So a few things here. I'm going to go in reverse chronological order because the last one I think is kind of neat. But in 1929, the Lateran Treaty was ratified, which made the Vatican City become its own country. So a tiny little country, Vatican City.
What's a Lateran? Excuse my ignorance.
I don't know.
So you look up these facts and you don't know the facts.
Just read the title. Yep.
Nice.
I was hoping no one would ask. I don't even know if I pronounced it correctly. But
Nice.
It is what it is. In 1937, is that the next date?
No,
Yeah,
you
in
skipped one.
1937. Well, I'm going in order. It's out of order on the notes, but in order in my head.
Oh my
I
goodness.
know. A lot of Rain Man stuff going on. The first shopping carts were invented, were ever used at a Humpty Dumpty in, guess what state?
Ohio.
Close. You got the O.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Fun. And then not so much fun in 1944, D-Day.
Oh.
Yeah. So storming Normandy Beach. We'll skip past that.
You don't want to mention it. Why even bring it up?
It's an important day.
Sorry.
1953, Elizabeth II, the late Elizabeth II. She was crowned the Queen of England. Another sad piece of news. But in happy news, 1965, Ed White was the first man to do a spacewalk. First American. Excuse me. I'm not necessarily sure he's the first man. First American to do a spacewalk. So he got out of his little spacecraft, did a little whoop, 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 and right back in.
He walked in the moon or did the moon
He's
walk?
in space. He's like an EVA kind of thing. Just, flying around. And
He
then
didn't really walk then. He just
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a moonwalk. That was Michael Jackson. This spacewalk.
Do you know when Michael Jackson did his first moonwalk?
I feel like you're testing me. Do you actually know the date?
I don't know. I'm seeing if you have it in your notes.
Well, it didn't happen this last week
Oh.
in history. And the last one here, in 2002, the Czech Republic was the first country to pass a law related to light pollution.
Oh, light pollution.
Oh, wow.
That's
we didn't even plan that.
I did.
Oh, you're so good.
Yes.
So yeah, they have I think little awnings over some of their buildings so that the light doesn't. And I think
What's those sound effects today? What's that mean?
the light, that's light leaving the city.
Oh, because light makes sound.
Right.
Got
yes.
it. Okay, just making sure.
And then in terms of RO centric things, I believe, I don't know if you're on this one or not, but project in 2018, the Whole Foods TI at Plaza Saltillo was completed. That was actually 2 day in 2018. So
2 day.
What day?
June 8th.
June.
June
No,
7th.
it was the first. It was June 1st.
June 7th.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh my goodness.
And then some quick anniversaries here. 24 years Trey Malone.
Oh wow.
24
Shout
years.
out Trey.
We have Philip Schuler here in Austin.
Who you thought was an intern a couple minutes before the show?
It looked, no. The guy that came in the office earlier looked a lot like him.
I don't know if that's better or not. So.
Anyway, 6 years, Lily Kelly used to be part of y'all's department, VDC. Yeah.
Fellow Longhorn.
She came up with us. I was not necessarily her classmate, but I was in the same building a lot of the times when she was in the same building.
I
Zach,
wonder if she knows that. Do you know if she knows?
I think she does. We've never talked about it, but I think she does.
You never talked to her?
I've talked
You're
to
missing
her a few
out.
times. I know.
She's an all-star.
I have talked to her. She's a great
You
person.
just say you haven't talked to her.
Not a lot. Not about us being in school together.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
5 years, Zach Coker, one of our
Ooh.
previous guests. He is, I think, our third most popular.
Oh,
live
really?
stream. Well, he'll be fourth after today, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
There's a secret guest, my...
Secret guest.
Come on.
And then the last one here. This one's very important to us.
Oh, to us. To our studio, really.
To our
our
studio.
hearts.
Yes. 5 years ago, a young Cesar Gonzalez Jr. started.
Ooh, pew, 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 pew.
He is doing noises over there. So.
Yeah. So
And so, yeah, that's been
today in history, we Texas to
building around the world. Yes. We're working on the graphics.
We're working on also hand gestures here. This one was inspired because I don't know if you're a big tennis aficionado like myself.
I am not.
But the French Open is happening right now.
Oh, wow.
And that's in Paris. So you say French?
France?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I would have guessed.
So I figured I could share a cool project that's supposed to be completed this year. That's
Oh, wow.
in Paris. So it's actually for the 2024 Olympics.
Oh, wow.
Next year. So they're looking to end construction this year, and it's an aquatic center. So I think we have images shown.
Yes.
Nope. But there's a 5,000 seat venue for the games, which afterwards will turn it into 25,000 for future seats. For just gonna keep the building usable after the games.
Nice.
And their big thing is sustainability. So they have a lot of fancy things going into it, from a lot of energy monitoring, low carbon, and all the materials are bio-based.
Wow.
Fun fact, it's a timber structure with a 5,000 square meter roof covered with photovoltaic panels. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Solar panels. Yeah.
I was trying to sound fancy.
Okay.
But you sound like something else. So yeah, I mean, it's a large footprint. So it's a large little urban solar farm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is the fun metric I think you might like.
Oh.
90% of the building's energy will be met from the renewable sources, and a fourth of it
Pretty
comes
awesome.
from that.
Just from the roof? A
Photovoltaic.
quarter is from the roof?
Yeah,
Are solar panels that efficient nowadays?
apparently this one is.
Dang, that's nuts.
Uh,
They just have no lights in the building.
maybe they're also trying to reduce the height of the building to minimize how much heat it needs to go to keep
Ooh,
it
smart. That makes sense.
sustainable.
Mm.
So yeah, make sure you check it out. If you don't check it out before construction, you probably check it out the games.
Yeah.
And this building sure,
America swims to the gold medal.
hopefully, or someone else, anyone can win.
I know. I'm American, so I have some semblance of pride.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So make sure you check it out because it's sure to make a splash.
Wow, that was good.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good. But there's no splash in this guest today.
Oh, wow.
He's a big positive breaking wave because waves can be bad.
Yes. But his waves are good.
But do you like funny people? No.
No,
Do you like talented people?
no.
No. Do you like kind, innovative people?
That I do, yes.
Oh. Do you know what happens when you manage to put all that into one person?
I think I do.
You get our guest today.
Oh.
With 2 scoops of charm and 1 cup of conversation. What do you get? You get our next guest, Todd
Gosh.
Wynne. He's a father. He's a tech guru. He's your field chief of innovation.
Yeah.
Almost butcher that. And he's considered among some people. He's the Tim Cook of RO.
Mm.
He's very top of the notch. He's a high person to look up to. He's a friend. Also, when I started, he was also a good person to look up to. And then he left. But then he came back.
Take it back, yay!
So that was a pretty fun moment. But I want to make sure he has plenty of time to talk about
Yes.
life today.
Yes.
So without further ado, his pure sunlight wrapped in skin, Todd Wynne.
Yay, Todd!
After these commercials.
The AI revolution is here. It's happening. It's not coming. It's not next week. It's not next year. It's here, now, today. But we're going to help you learn how to use those tools to better your workflows.
At RO, we're starting the AI-powered construction challenge. And during this challenge, we want to get ideas from y'all on how we can leverage AI tools to improve any and all aspects of your day-to-day routine. You can use tools like ChatGPT,
Bard is another one powered through Google.
DALL-E, another open AI platform that generates images for you.
One of my favorites, Midjourney, another AI image generation tool that does some incredible things. There's a lot of use cases for this too, aren't there, Hagen?
Oh, there's plenty, yeah.
You can go through whether you're making meeting minutes or perhaps trying to write an email. Are there any examples you know of that could help people out here?
You need help starting an RFI. I know I use it a lot to help me write some simple programming functions and things in Excel, the more complex formula.
Almost anything you can imagine that uses written language, there is going to be some bot out there today that can help you do it better. So we're going to go in, we're going to talk about some of those tools, showcase how you use them, some of their benefits, downfalls, and we look forward to seeing what you put together into the AI-powered construction challenge. So now that you've been introduced to some of these approach to it all,
Nice.
but anyways, that's intermittent fasting. We're here to talk about innovation, robotics, winners.
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that introduction, James. Like, whatever I got built up for, I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow that. That's all I got to say right now.
I've got a feeling we're going to be all right.
All right. Well, we're going to have fun no matter what.
If there's anyone who can follow up a Bruno Cicchini introduction, it's a Todd Wynne.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So thank you, Todd, for coming down and joining us today. I know you've been traveling around a lot. We'll get to that more in a bit here, but
Yeah. Glad to be here. Super excited to get on the show finally.
right? I think it's episode 22 or 21, 3, something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised. It almost seems like you should have been the first one, like
No way.
intuitively. that
No
would've made
way.
sense.
No, people they get to hear enough of Todd. I've really enjoyed getting to learn more about our best people at RO, and this show has done a tremendous job at doing that.
Love to hear it. For those that don't know you, whether they be new or perhaps in Houston and just haven't made their way up to Dallas,
Yeah.
what's your role here currently at RO?
So I have the unbelievable opportunity and exciting responsibility to lead innovation at RO. And as everyone knows, one of our main core values is a better way. It's in our DNA. And so really, sometimes my job is to look out and kind of project where we might be headed. And then really it's the amazing opportunity to work with amazing team leaders like yourself on finding ways to future back bridge that future into today and iteratively work our way towards it.
We didn't really have questions prepared. I'm gonna hit you with this one anyways.
Yeah.
What do you get most excited about every day? Like whenever you wake up and it's 4:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah. So I think it's what I'm going to learn. Like every day I get to learn something new, and that's it's the fault of my mother. She instilled that, brainwashed it even in me, that every day you learn something new. We all have heard that cliche, but the cool thing about it is you're no longer the same person. You're actually a different Todd every single day at the end of that day. And that's what really fires me up is what am I going to learn today?
And it's such a fun way to put it. It's almost like a daily metamorphosis you get to go through.
Yeah.
If you're willing to take that time and that opportunity to make that change, make that improvement, be open to new thoughts and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How lovely. That's got me feeling all good, motivated, and Twitter pated nearly over here. So we'll get to more of that. Definitely want to talk to you more about innovation. What does that mean to you? How do we not only become more innovative, but how do we maintain that going forward? But I've got a feeling there's, I don't know, 40, 50, 60, 100 people, whatever, listening right now that are very curious to hear about a challenge we did.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to wait at least a little bit longer.
Nice.
Got to make sure everyone's on the same page here,
Keep
right?
them hanging.
Have to seek alignment.
Right. Absolutely.
So for those that aren't familiar, we did this Hilti Challenge, Hilti Robotics Challenge, because we were one of 4 companies, correct, Todd?
Yeah, that's right. Amazing opportunity. Hilti, for those know them just as our standard tool company or fire stop or fireproofing or fasteners, but they're actually a really innovative company, and they selected 4 innovative thought leaders across the industry worldwide, and RO, we were blessed to be one of those that were selected.
One of the big kids in the sandbox, right?
Yeah, I think actually in the grand scheme of things, we were the smallest kid in the sandbox. It was DPR, Hensel Phelps, Winterton, and little RO here in Texas.
Does that make us scrappy? I don't know how to label us in that group.
It makes us agile and the best at what we do.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Barry Sanders of construction.
There you go. Yeah, quick cuts.
Yes.
I like it. Yeah.
So whenever we got invited to do this, you had the idea of, well, let's, we kind of have this great touch point with Hilti.
Yeah.
Let's see what our people think about robotics, and let's maybe see what Hilti thinks about what our people think, and
absolutely
give everyone here an opportunity to voice their thoughts and where they see robotics being useful.
Yeah.
Coming from those in the field day in and day out.
Yeah.
And give Hilti the opportunity to say, hey, those are some good ideas, and maybe even pick a winner.
Well, that's where the real ideas are, James. It's where the rubber meets the road. So, and you know this as an innovator, it's our job to really just be stewards and curators of seeking out and finding those ideas and helping bring them to life. And when Hilti said, hey, we're really putting a big investment towards the future of robotics and really cobots, collaborative robotic tools that can be used on job sites. What better way than to ask our people, hey, what do you think? What process that is either hazardous, unsafe, could be automated, or repetitive tasks that, hey, a worker probably doesn't need to be doing that.
And we fortunately too had the innovation station in place, right? This wasn't, we already had the infrastructure there to support these efforts and do things like challenges.
Right.
Just the other day I was checking out that Apple headset, and I was talking with other people about it, and they're saying like, well, someone else will, come out with something comparable or whatever. They'll kind of try to clone it. I'd be like, you know what, you're right, but this is like tied into their whole ecosystem, right? That headset hooks in with a MacBook. It does FaceTime. So even if someone tries to duplicate that because they've seen success that Apple has had with that headset,
Right.
they're never going to achieve the level of integration they have. And I feel like thanks to people like yourself, that's what we've kind of achieved here is we have those tools out there
Right.
that allow us to, like, others may see it and say, hey, we're going to do that too. But you have to build up on each of those.
Yeah, it's easy to do something innovative in one instance, but the thing that makes things hard is making it simple and scalable. And that's even one reason why I think Hilti is an interesting partner, because they do have the ability to scale tools and fasteners across our industry. They've already done it. And, there's many startups out there working on some very innovative things, but the thing that they're always going to run into is the challenge of scalability.
It's a tough one, but we're not going to figure that out today.
Yeah, not today.
Though we might try. So we ran this challenge. We ran it, I think it was 4 weeks. I can't recall
That
now.
sounds right.
And, had some pretty good participation.
Yeah.
We had, and I think Dr. Fritz has some graphics you might be able to pull up. We had 31 submissions. I think it might be one or two more, but end of the day, counted them up, and about 31 submissions that we had come in. I don't know what the exact numbers were. I didn't write them down, but it was interesting. It was a pretty even split across offices. And then we also looked at ops and support groups. There's definitely a little heavier on the support groups. So those of you that are in ops,
we need to hear from you. We need more participation. I don't know which camera to look at. I'll look at this one. We need more participation for sure. And the reason why is because that's where the best ideas are. It's where the work is going in place. So we need to hear from you.
On the plus side, we saw a pretty big shift from past challenges where we did get more ops engagement.
It's increasing.
I think if our executive producer over there is teleprompting me correctly, we had 17 from Austin and 11 from Dallas.
Nice.
And the remainder from Houston and San Antonio.
Awesome.
One of the interesting things, Houston had an exact split representative of ops and support. So I think down there they had 78 or 80% ops submissions, and then the remainder
interesting
support.
Yeah.
I also think it was a total like 3 or 4 submissions, but it was.
They're a growing office for sure, but that's awesome. It's the participation we have gotten. It's hugely valuable. And the cool thing about it, James, is when I got over there, these other 3 companies, they didn't do anything like this. So that's something that I'm really proud of, that we came prepared with some ideas when we sat down with Hilti.
And we had some absolutely awesome ideas come in. And thank you to everyone who went out there and engaged with the voting.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That was kind of a new tool for us that we were trying. We didn't, there's too many fingers. We didn't know how that was going to go. It was kind of something different, but we didn't want to, we wanted to have everyone, we want to give everyone the opportunity to not just choose one idea,
right,
but to rank those ideas.
It was a good experiment, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing in a lot of areas in the company right now, is like experimenting and saying, is this a better way? And if it's not, we'll try something else. But I thought that was a really good experiment to see how does it work when you let the company crowdsource the voting on a challenge.
I'm just going to run through some of these here, some of the ones that came out on top from the voting, and you'll have to forgive me, I didn't take the names down, but we had the Medic Bot, the Hilti Daily Log Dog, which I thought was really cool. AI assisted wall checks, I think that came out of the OpEx department. BIM Print, the robotic hoist operator, which was, I probably shouldn't show too much favoritism, but
it's okay to have your own personal favorites.
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a good one.
There was that. There was also, I believe Brandon Arias submitted an idea revolving around the unloading of trucks and all that, automated forklifts.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. 3D printing out of the Austin Precon department there. We had getting rid of sign issues, making them a thing of the past. I think that came from Trey Stewart, if I'm not mistaken. Site Snapper from Laurel there in the marketing department, trying to get some better content capture.
Absolutely.
Drywall cutting and scanning, which is super cool, just to think of, projecting onto a wall where those cutouts need to go and automating that process.
Measure and cut all at once.
And then what is somehow wasn't everybody's favorite, the Hiltonator.
They did love that name, by the way. They loved it. There was a big laugh whenever I presented that one to them.
But just, you can tell, I know I didn't go into details, that these are still out on the innovation station. You can't partake in the challenge any longer, but you can go look at some of these ideas. Yeah. They're all over the place, which I thought was super cool. It wasn't like everyone said, oh, we need AR, one thing, right? Yeah. Everything, health and safety to production to security.
Right.
I mean, you name it, someone probably thought of something at least adjacent to that.
I think it just shows us the opportunity is there. It's boundless. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things we do in construction that's dangerous that maybe a robot should be doing. There's also things that are repetitive that could free up someone to go ahead and get ahead of schedule on another task. And then, of course, we have the looming labor shortage, which is a real problem that we're feeling. And then even the subset of that, the skilled labor shortage that's occurring. So assisted robotics in construction, it sounds like fantasy, but over the next few years, it'll be a requirement.
I was going to say, if it's not a requirement, then we're going to have to stop building a lot of the stuff that we're currently building.
We won't be able to keep up with society's demands. That's true. Yeah, I think the latest stat is we're 600,000 people short, just under 600,000 people short in North America right now, with another 500,000 by the end of the year needed.
I don't want to go too off topic, but I think that so much of the challenge with that too is those skilled laborers. That's not, you don't flip a switch and get those people. Yeah. You can't just say, you're a skilled laborer. Now, Todd, congratulations on being a master plumber. Go to the field. Yeah. That takes 10, 15 years of experience.
Yeah.
So we're already behind.
Right.
10, 15, 20 years from now, if things were to stay the course, it's just going to get that much worse.
Yeah, it's really, we've been putting a ton of focus on the education side the past 5-6 years, but I don't think that's going to solve it. Like, we did a really good job, for better or worse, in the 80s of brainwashing society that, hey, if you're not going to college, higher ed, to become a lawyer or a doctor, then you're not going to be successful. And we did such a good job of it that we killed the father to son trade knowledge, craft knowledge handed down. And now we're reaping what we sowed as society. And that's what's put us in this sticky situation.
One way or another, we'll find a way out of it.
100%.
We could do a whole probably 3-hour talk.
Whole session on that challenge. Yeah, absolutely.
Very much so. But we took all of these and so we had the RO voting, and we do have 2 winners that were picked out of the RO voting. So those will be our second and first runner up. And we also presented these ideas to Hilti and allowed them to select a grand prize winner.
Yes.
So this grand prize winner had nothing to do with us. It was something we kicked over there. And before we get into those, Todd, do you want to talk a little bit about Rudy and whom you talked with on these challenges and what they thought about them? And
absolutely,
then we'll go into prizes.
Yeah, it was a really, really interesting and productive trip. So just to be clear, this was so their North American headquarters is actually in Plano, which is close to our HQ. But their global headquarters is in Liechtenstein, very small little country over in Europe. And so they flew the 4 of us over from these 4 different companies, and we spent a week in their robotics lab with their team. And Rudy, who you mentioned, Rudy Wagner, is the head of robotics for Hilti. And we even got some great tours of their production facility, of where they make all the fasteners, and James, crazy things like, I wish I could have taken pictures, but a lot of this is confidential, as you can imagine, and wanted to be respectful to their wishes. But they go, just in that one production facility, 10 tons of raw materials a day.
A day?
A day. And they're pushing out 5 million screws from that one factory a day. And none of those screws will end up on a job site here in Texas. It's because that factory all produces for Europe. Ours come from other factories in Mexico and China. They got factories all over the world. But one thing that really was interesting to me was seeing how they were already using robotics to build these fasteners, to build these tools. And then it really clicked in my head of, yeah, who's better than to help build robotics for construction than those that have been working in it to mass produce material. So that was kind of an epiphany for me while I was there. And then getting to meet with Rudy and his team once I presented our Hilti Challenge ideas from the innovation station. Rudy was kind enough to spend about a week reviewing all the ideas with his team, and then he gave us a winner, and he selected it. So, yeah,
Totally out of our
don't
hands.
get mad at James or Todd if you didn't win.
Exactly. But I think too that we're joking about that, right? It really wasn't an alleviation of responsibility. It was more that we wanted to give them RO's ideas.
Yeah.
And there is no one better versed on the needs of the industry and what is, pragmatic in approach as well than those people. So to that lucky winner that we'll soon get to.
Yeah.
That's
You're really keeping them hanging.
I'm
aren't
trying
you?
as long as I
love
can.
it.
As long as I can.
I love it.
I figure it's probably one of our top episodes, so really trying to like keep them in here
Nice.
for as long as possible.
Nice. That's great.
But I think there's there should be a very strong what's what I'm looking for intangible feeling of support that comes from getting that kind of stamp of approval coming out of the Hilti folk.
Yeah, and it was the sessions were amazing. We spent we spent an all day and workshop just in a boardroom working on things like the challenges that the industry faces with the labor shortage and just safety concerns and production opportunities and all types of things. And then we really started honing in on, okay, so what are some things that could start taking us towards a more safe, productive, efficient future. So it was some really great discussion while we were there. I think the other companies, though, were jealous that we came prepared with these ideas already.
We were talking about that earlier, right? If you're going to be innovative, you're going to have some courage, a little bit of bravery too, right? Be the weird kid in class a bit.
Right.
Well, we have three folks who were exceptional standouts in this. I feel bad. They've been sitting here for over a half hour now waiting to hear something. So we'll get to some of these winners now.
Let's do it.
So our second runner-up, so again, we had a grand prize.
Yeah.
First runner-up, second runner-up.
What are the prizes, too? I don't remember.
So a second runner-up is taking home a $100 Visa card.
Ayo.
So they're getting that. The first runner-up is getting a $500
Now
Visa
we're
card.
talking.
So we're getting somewhere big here. And that grand prize winner is going on a Virgin Voyage cruise through the Caribbean.
Nice.
So
that sounds awesome. I've heard good things of Virgin's new cruise ship. I haven't done it myself yet, but I've heard it's a special experience.
The innovation charter workshop or something like that. Yeah.
It's gonna be weird whenever we say we won. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So that second place or second runner up goes to Miss Natalie Sandoval for her robotic hoist operator.
Nice.
I know I said earlier, I felt like that was one of my favorites out there.
It's a great one because there's so much inefficiencies and wasted time on a job site whenever that buck hoist is not optimized, right? I mean, how many times do we have people waiting that are attached to the critical path or material that's waiting while people who aren't attached to the critical path are actually utilizing that buck hoist. So yeah, that is a really cool one.
She had some great points there too about access control and all that, making sure the right people have access to the right areas and just tie in some machine learning and all to really optimize your routes.
Prioritization of the logistics of a buck hoist. It's genius.
I love it. So second runner up, but very high up there in my mind, Natalie. So let's go on to that first runner up before we go off to the grand prize.
Yeah.
And this one was very interesting. I think there's some firms out there kind of working on some similar efforts,
Mm-hmm.
and another Austinite here. We had Mr. Nick Vargo
Hey,
with his submission on AI assisted wall checks.
AI assisted wall checks. Yeah, I remember that one. That one was really cool. Yeah,
And
using yeah.
not only did you think that was very cool, Todd, that was actually ranked by RO employees as the
number one.
Yep.
Wow, very cool.
So I think he got a lot of support, a lot of love from the ops teams out there that have to deal with the consequences of, I don't want to say improper, but wall checks that aren't fully up to spec, or maybe you don't have time to do them all.
Well, the way we do it today, James, it's just eyes and fingers, right?
Yeah.
We're literally having to be there geographically to make sure that everything is in the walls, above the ceiling. So yeah, if we can automate and what I would call passively collect that data, 100%, it's a no-brainer. So it's a great idea.
It has the potential to save a ton of rework, to buy back a lot of QM and project engineer time, and
Absolutely.
it's something that we certainly can do as humans, but I think we're better off on the front end of things rather than validating.
We can't be everywhere at once, James.
Yes, exactly. So congratulations, Nick. Congratulations, Natalie.
Yeah.
Super, super proud of you both, and very impressed with your submissions. But that does leave us with a grand prize winner that we have not mentioned
Let's
yet.
do it.
Todd, I'll let you go ahead and
Awesome.
give those cookies
I
away.
don't know who I'm looking at. Which camera? This one right here. Oh, this one. I'm being told over here. So Rudy sent me an email on Friday and said that the idea they selected actually happens to be on their roadmap. So it was an idea that resonated with them and got them excited. And drum roll, the grand prize winner of the Hilti Robotic Challenge is Vanessa with the BIM print solution.
Try not to blow out the mics too bad here. Four stages, I got the hair.
Which was a really innovative idea. Essentially, we're seeing model-based layout come through some of these site printers on decks like Dusty Robotics and HP site print, which we're going to be testing actually in just a couple months on some RO projects, and then if you have Rugged Robotics down in Houston, that also is working on some of this. But from Hilti's standpoint, they see this as it's not just the floor that we lay things out on, right? I mean, it's being able to lay out where blocking goes on the wall, or where the sprinkler is going to be drilled and mounted, or so yeah, it's a cool idea for sure, and it's one that they specifically said is on their roadmap that they're working towards.
That's one of those things that, for as long as I can remember being in construction at this point, well, maybe not quite that long, but in commercial construction at least, that's been such a challenge, is how do we take this BIM information, this data, and how do we make it actionable in the field?
Yeah.
Like, well, this is a big part of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing that layout and making sure that everything's going where it should be going first time around.
Yeah, we got to get the Legos in the right place the first time, right?
And it's so funny too, because you mentioned, laying out on walls and all that, and I was thinking of what you had a good quote earlier with the candles.
Oh gosh, you're gonna make me try to remember that. It was
Edison didn't get to.
The idea is that there's two types of innovation. There's innovation through exploration and innovation through exploitation. And Andres Bong with Hilti, he gave a great talk while I was out there on this specific topic. And the interesting thing is the difference in the two. Exploration is like Edison with the light bulb, or the Model T Ford compared to faster horses. So whereas exploitation is taking what you have today, it's iterative, it's refining it, it's optimizing it, streamlining it. And I think the quote was something like, Edison didn't invent the light bulb through the continuous improvement of candles, right? He had to think differently. He had to think outside of the box, if you will. I think that's overused, but yeah, he had to think differently. with a different perspective.
It's one of the things I love about the BIM print is it's, you can only get so much out of 2D and out of 2D plans and 2D layout and all that.
Yeah.
You got
We're visual creatures.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we're trying to, I mean, that's why some of the best builders have learned how to translate that 2D into a 3D representation in their mind so well.
Never made sense to me why we use floor plans as much as we do, because no one looks at anything in a floor plan view.
Yeah. Well,
sections and elevations,
it's interesting
right?
though. I think it just depends. Like I'm a big believer in different visualization environments based on the task at hand. For instance, using Google Maps to navigate here, that was in a 2D view. We don't navigate in 3D on a map. So I think it just depends on what the context is. If you're wanting to see the elevation of some uppers or a soffit or cabinetry, then 3D would be really nice, right? It's hard to denote that from a 2D representation. So I think it just depends on what you're trying to achieve, and then to be able to curate that visual environment.
Finding the medium that conveys it in the cleanest way possible.
Exactly.
Most intuitive way possible.
Yeah, if I just wanted the dimension across this room, 2D is perfect for that. Like, it's very clear that I'm looking in a plan view and this is the dimension. So 2D has its place.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. But congratulations to each of those individuals. Congratulations to everyone there too. We had, I think it was 10 folks that we had a call to action on a Tuesday afternoon or Monday afternoon, whatever it was. And they each got a $25 Motivosity credit. We had our 3 winners, and there are just so many great ideas. It was tough going through there. I read through each and every one of them at least a couple of times.
Yeah, great ideas. Very innovative, very thoughtful. As you said before, James, the diversity of the ideas is what's so exciting. It just shows you that we got a lot of opportunity ahead of us to continue to evolve this industry and how we build the world.
One last curious point with Vanessa's submission. That was actually the first submission.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the coffee bot was technically first, but that was an example.
So it was funny when I was working with Laurel in our marketing department. She said, "Do I need to include the funny ones?" And I said, "Absolutely, absolutely." And they laughed. And Rudy even said, "You watch, my roboticists, my engineers will probably end up building that just because they love coffee so much." So, no, it's who says we can't do great things and have fun while doing them.
Hey, that's what I'm in for. Yeah. Have some fun, change the world while we're at it.
Absolutely.
So I know we've spent a lot of time talking about Hilti and Robotics and all that.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to make sure we've got 17 minutes left.
Oh, wow. Time flies.
Got this giant clock now, so I don't have to stare off into the abyss, but it still sneaks up on me.
Nice. Let's make them count.
Yeah. I want to talk to you more about, hear from you more about innovation and yourself and your experience at RO and all that. So my first question would be, as Bruno mentioned, you were here at RO.
Yeah.
You came from another GC as a superintendent, and then you left for a while to go do some software things after finding a very adventurous new way to use 2D.
Yeah.
And then you came back to RO. So what is it about RO that you love that pulled you back in?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we all hear it's the people, which absolutely starts there. If you don't like the people you work with, you're probably not going to be very fulfilled, right? So hopefully me coming back is a big compliment to the people we have here, because we have amazing people. But I think that what also brought me back was it's the culture of innovation here. I call it my home of innovation. When I came back, I'm getting to come home to my home of innovation, and it's because it is interwoven in our DNA, this belief that there's a better way. And our people, I know there's change fatigue. I experience it too. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, got to learn something new. But deep down, our people want to know how to build better because they care. And that is what's really special to me. And when I was at Bluebeam, I had the opportunity to travel the world and get to actually look in and work with GCs all across the world. And what we have here is actually very special. We're very focused on our mission. We're not trying to be the premier builder of the world or of the United States, but just Texas, just where we live, just our community, where our families are. And that speaks to me. I'm 8th generation Texan too. So I love this state. Yeah. I love this state. I believe in our mission. I believe in our purpose, why we're doing it, to build a better Texas together. And, yeah, I think that's really what drove me. I felt like I can make a difference here. And I think that's what's so cool about this company, is that in my time here, ever since I started in 2012, I've never seen anyone who wanted to change something for the better and were persistent and passionate about it. I've never seen them fail. I've always seen that change occur. And that's what makes me love this company.
Gosh, yeah. You mentioned, the people wanting to be around and enjoying the people you're working with.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but think of some of the articles I've seen lately about the whole return to work, return to the office, and all that, where some employers are mandating, hey, you have to come back. You have to be here, 3, 4, 5 days a week or whatever.
Right.
And as I read those articles, think about it, it's like, I hope I never have to work someplace like that, because I don't feel like I do now. Like, I'm bummed whenever I can't come into the office.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the people that I work with, getting to hang out with, Dr. Fritz and Mr. Chikini and Mr. Gonzalez and Mrs. Minshew and all of them every day. Like, that's an awesome group of people that I'm excited to come be with every day. So it makes me feel for the people that are like, I want to work from home. I'm like, why do you want to work from home?
Yeah.
Like, do you not like your coworkers, or is it like that bad of an environment?
Yeah.
So I strongly agree with you. There's definitely something different about what goes on here that definitely makes us a bit different.
Definitely.
But you brought up the innovation side of things, and the fact that whenever you see people put their minds to an effort,
yes,
you rarely see that company fail to succeed.
Yeah, that individual NRO. I mean, there's times where I hear people say, hey, I have an idea on something, and they don't push forward on it. Well, of course, that's not going to go anywhere. But anytime I've seen someone who has an idea to make something better and really push it forward, this company embraces that, which I think is special.
I have a hypothesis.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
What's that?
But I think that having more of those people is how we not only grow and advance as a company, but as an industry as a whole.
Totally.
How do you think we get more people to push for their ideas? To either, I don't know if it's a matter of having confidence in their ideas, in themselves, if it's a lack of awareness, what do you see as being the key element to making those people come out of the woodwork?
I think, it's a great question. I think that it's a combination of things that are inhibiting it. I think the first one is awareness and exposure. It's knowing, hey, RO is a company that embraces a better way. It's in our core values. It's in our behaviors of our culture. So know that if you are new to the company, that you do have the license to stand up and be vulnerable and have some courage and say, hey, I think I see a better way. The second part of that is, I think, the inhibitor of the mental lock that people keep on their mind and let these assumptions control their thinking. And one of those mental locks is, I'm not creative. I'm not innovative. And really, innovation is a practice. It's just like anything else. You want to learn the guitar, what do? You practice. Well, if you want to be innovative, you have to practice. And it starts with practicing the mindset of, I want to be innovative. I know that sounds silly or simple, but it really does start there, of just starting to practice thinking that you want to be innovative. And then it's experimenting. It's trying new things. It's having the courage to try new things and stand out among your peers and maybe even look a little silly or different. And then, of course, the ultimate aspect is the learning. You have to be obsessed with learning.
It's so hard too, because I think that once most people, not an RO, not just humans in general, once they're out of the education system, whether it be at middle school, high school, collegiate level, postgrad level, whatever, they seem to take a pause, or at least maybe a stop even on learning, because it's kind of become a checkbox of like, oh, I did learning, I'm done, I'm ready to go adult now, I'm ready to go into the workforce now.
That's because our entire education system is broken, James.
we don't have enough time.
No, we don't. But I'll try to say this. Education is seen as an obligation when really it's an opportunity. What we talked about at the beginning of anytime you learn something, you become someone different. I mean, if I challenged you and said, James, the James of 10 years ago, is that the same person? Of course you'd say no. And it's because of the experiences, the knowledge that you've gained, whether it was through reading or through pain and suffering, you became a different person. And I think that if our school structure institutions focus more on the power of curiosity and discovery and then evolution of yourself, I think that our kids would find learning can be fun. And it's not an obligation. It's not about passing a test or cramming to just remember something just to be able to check that box. There was something my mom used to say to me. She was an educator who pulled me out of school, homeschooled me. So I actually, fun fact about Todd, people don't know, I don't have a high school diploma. I have 2 college degrees, but no high school diploma. So she's the one who instilled that learning in me, that love of learning. And knowing that if you truly learn something, you own it. You don't just have it memorized to pass a test. You truly own it, and it's a part of you. And I think that's what we're missing in the education system.
I said we didn't have time. We don't have time. We're going to go there anyways. There's you're obviously very aware of a lot of the changes going on with AI and all that. There's been this upheaval within the education system of it seems like frustration, disappointment to some degree, maybe. Where they're saying
mad people are going to cheat on their tests,
right?
Which they're missing the point.
Do you think that these tools will force educators in the educational system to reevaluate what education is, what it's structured like, how it operates?
I wish I have as much hope as that. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly think that this is going to be the beginning of, the old saying, history repeats itself. I actually think that we're going to see the advancement of artificial intelligence and machine learning take the place of educators. I think that an AI can teach us way better than a person can. So I think we'll get back to more the community. I mean, look at what happened during COVID when kids were being pulled out of school. I don't know about anyone else, but like my 2 little girls, we teamed up with other parents that were in our neighborhood, and they learned together while they weren't at school. I could see an AI teaching your local community of kids. I don't know. That's kind of where I think it's going to go. I think the problem, though, is everyone's focused right now on how AI is going to be used to cheat on a test. But really, shouldn't we be focusing on now we have a computer algorithm that can start to help us educate ourselves in ways that we never imagined?
I know there was a day, not my day, thankfully, but there was a point in time where you, as an engineer, were expected to use a slide rule, right? To figure out
is the calculator bad,
things.
James? Should we get rid of all the calculators?
Right.
Yeah.
So I strongly agree. I think that's going to become adopted into the system.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful, perhaps wrong, as someone who didn't find school particularly enjoyable until I was paying a lot of money for it out of my pocket. I'm hopeful that it is a catalyst for a positive change where people find the content engaging at that either person being informed by some sort of bot or just a bot itself is able to take those learning experiences and cater it to the individual instead of just, hey, memorize this, memorize that, read this book, read that book.
Yeah.
And saying, well, those are, Romeo and Juliet's classic. Of course you can read that, or, Death of a Traveling Salesman or whatever. Saying, well, hey, this other work portrays the similar themes, but is more aligned with your interest. So go read that one and then let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's important that we, you should learn what you're interested in learning. Follow your passion, follow your purpose that you've attached yourself to, and hopefully with some of the advancements that we're seeing and the democratization of knowledge, people will be more empowered to do that.
If you could change any one thing at RO, just wave a magic wand and change any one thing that you want, what change would you make?
So I don't know if this is just an RO change, but this would be like an industry mindset change, because I don't think this is unique to RO. It would be speak up when you need help. I think that our industry has cultured us and shaped us to think I gotta know the answer. I gotta figure it out. I gotta solve my problem alone on my project. Or and I think, by the way, I don't use this as a brush across the company. I think we have some amazing people that when they see smoke or they see a challenge occurring, they go, hey, can someone help? Bring in reinforcements. Because at the end of the day, those are the intentions of, I know of the Ops Council and leadership is like, we just want to know where we're winning or losing so that we can help bring in the reinforcements to get things back on track. So what my request would be is be vulnerable and speak up and say, hey, this isn't going well, and watch the reinforcements come in and get it on track, and we all win together. Because at the end of the day, we do truly win together or lose together. It's not just my project or your project.
And I think we have I don't know if track record is the proper way to put it, but we have demonstrated experience in doing so. I think. Yeah. I know people who have been out on a project and something doesn't go right. Somebody leaves, something changes.
We do it way better than some general contractors I've seen. Trust me.
Validate that.
100%. But I think there's a lot of room for growth there. I think there's a big opportunity for us to become one RO, where we truly do win together, lose together. We support each other, even when things are going bad. It's not going, oof, glad that's not my project. That's the wrong mindset. The mindset is, that's my project too, and I want to help them succeed. So I think there's a big opportunity for us to continue to evolve our mindset. And, we got to name it with our mindset, and then we got to live it. And the living it's going to take some work.
It's funny because as soon as you said, one RO, I was trying to think of like how you could stylize the O and RO into a one.
Yeah.
I'm like, Todd's going to love a logo for this.
There you go, marketing. One RO. Make it happen.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, because it's an awareness change. It's a flow of information. It's not necessarily a change in the process.
Yeah.
It's
communication.
Yes.
It's communication, which is the underlying challenge in all companies, all teams, all departments, every aspects of life, even at home in our families. We think we're speaking the same language, but we all interpret words differently. We're all interpreting the way people are receiving things differently. That's the challenge. So yeah, I think the wave of the wand would be speak up, communicate. Let's over communicate. I think that's good communication.
I'm with you there. That's an area that's so interesting, because we have project managers and superintendents, and they'll go to classes on scheduling, on finance. They get a degree that might take them, I'm thinking in particular, a bunch of these kids out of UT, they have the double major, whatever it is, in architectural engineering and architecture and architecture engineering, or you get people out of A&M or Texas State with a major in construction science management and a minor in business. Mm-hmm. And out of all of that, you get maybe 1 3-semester class. Yeah. In communication.
Right. Yeah.
It's not built for us.
That's in any literally way, where every problem occurs. The root cause is a breakdown in communication somewhere.
And at the professional organization level, you don't see it a lot. Internally, at RO, at anywhere, you don't see a whole lot of it. So it is interesting. It's one of those areas that we could benefit so strongly from. But I think it's the difficulty in being effective in that that makes it very.
Once again, if we want to master anything or seek excellence in anything, we've got to practice it.
I'll
practice what we want to become.
I'll do my best to keep embracing that every day.
That's great.
I think we've got time for one more question. Do we have any questions come in? One more question for you there, Mr. Wynne. If you could tell young Todd anything, what would you tell
him? Young Todd. How young?
16, 8, 21. whatever you like to see as a young Todd. I don't want to
tell him to use fear as a compass. I'd tell him if it's scary, it's probably the right way. It's probably the right direction. I think that the inner critic in all of us is what holds us back from unlocking our greatest selves. And there's things that people that are watching this are thinking about speaking up in a meeting or saying, and they stop themselves because it's that self-created fear that I'm going to look stupid. I'd say lean into that. I'd say if you see something and it's scary, use it as a compass. It's the right direction, and it's going to unlock your greatest self. And I wish that I would have learned that a long time ago.
Don't fear the fear. Lean into it.
Lean into it. It's fake fear. Real fear is being in a den of lions, right? That's real fear. Self-created fear. We actually don't have a word for it in the English language. In Hebrew, they do. They call it uria.
I think there's a German word for that as well, and I'm drawing a blank on it.
There's other languages where they have a word for self-created fear. It's fabricated fear. It's not real fear. We're just scared because we don't want to get hurt. We don't get our feelings hurt. We don't.
I think there's validity to it, because it seems that to most people, the only thing worse than actual physical pain, someone cutting you open, is being ostracized or othered, or put aside.
Totally.
So evolutionarily speaking, I have no idea where that comes from.
Yeah.
But there does seem to be something in there that is a challenge for each of us to address.
Yeah. But with some practice, you can overcome it.
Well, Mr. Wynne, we went over 2 minutes, but we'll cut that out from the commercial and it'll be all right. It'll be an hour. We'll call it an hour still. Thank you so much for coming down and being a part of this effort, and for motivating us to do the Hilti Challenge. And a big thank you to the marketing team as well as all the participants.
Yes.
The marketing team, I know you guys don't realize this, but they took all these ideas and formatted it into a presentation and made it look great for Todd to go put in front of Hilti.
Made me look really good in front of Hilti. Let's just say that. I owe them big thanks.
And I owe the marketing team thanks, because I did them no favors by handing this off to them on a Monday or Tuesday, and they had until Friday to get it all formatted. So Laurel and Emma and your whole team, thank you so much for your help there. You guys are incredible. To everyone out there that submitted ideas, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
For being brave, for having that courage to go out there and say, hey, maybe people will look at me and think I'm a goofball for recommending a coffee bot, but we're gonna go for it anyways. And again, Todd, for arranging all this and going and showing the world what RO can do.
Well,
there's a lot of bright minds here.
It's an honor to get to do it, and it's all the amazing people that we have doing the amazing things. And thanks to you, James, and Hagen and Bruno and Cesar. I see you guys back there making all this happen. And really, true innovation comes through connecting people with different perspectives and ideas together. So this is the epitome of that. So thank you all for all that you do.
Get your AI challenge ideas in. This will be out on Spotify and Apple Monday morning. And we will be back next week with Nelson Sands.
Ooh,
Nelson
good one.
Sands. He's not happy about having to follow you, but
he's going to do great.
I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see you all next week. Thank you again, Todd.
Thank you.